This is definitely something that is reported with the shadow people experiences.
It was warning humanity about the deceivers, about dangers.
Had everyone baffled, and people were saying, well, what is this?
As a group of motorcycle riders have an unexpected run-in.
It all seemed to be real to me.
After countless UFO sightings spanning decades, it was about time for alien encounters. A group of friends embarked on a camping trip by California's Big Bear Lake.
He's real, but okay, you know?
But their peaceful outing took a peculiar twist. A small possum-like creature emerged suddenly, sending shivers down their spines. Describing their fleeting glimpse like it likened to Dobby, the fictional character from Harry Potter. This bizarre incident has left everyone bewildered, with some speculating that it could be an extraterrestrial visitor sent to observe mankind. In a world filled with mysteries, this alien-esque encounter adds yet another layer of enigmatic intrigue. Eerie in forest. Finding something like this walking about in the forest is indeed odd, and nevertheless quite interesting at the same time. A party of hunters and trackers, while looking for a buck, stumbled onto this short-heighted alien in the woods of the British Isles, close to a water source. This forest mystery apparently had the resemblance to a real-life pixie, except without wings. Aside from it being tidy, its body was slender with olive green skin. Large, bulging black eyes and pointed ears appeared briefly before darting out of sight. This encounter lends credence to the myth of these aliens dwelling on Earth prior to human existence. Abandoned city, namely. The scary vibe of entering an abandoned city might seem to be a ridiculous one until instances such as this prove otherwise. A group of young explorers decided to explore a small abandoned town near the Chernobyl. With the recording while moving around, they managed to capture a moment where an alien figure appeared out of nowhere and quickly disappeared before climbing a nearby wall seconds before disappearing. Its appearance stunned the explorers in fear, realizing the presence of this being that looked nothing like it was from this planet. The group, shortly after the encounter, decided to cut their adventure short and return. Cryptid caught on camera. Cryptid or not, they tend to make mistakes and get compromised. During the placement of his trail camera in an Alabama mountain forest, an explorer stumbled upon an enigmatic shadowy figure. This mysterious entity was observed inquisitively, peering out from beside a broad tree trunk, and was inadvertently captured on the still recording camera. Although it displayed no overtly malevolent intent, the cameraman swiftly retreated from the vicinity, driven by the uncertainty of the being's nature and its potential capabilities. He instinctively chose to make a hasty departure. The identity and origins of this figure continued to elude understanding, even after gaining widespread attention online. Golem Jr. If Golem could have a baby, this is probably how it would look. This footage that was anonymously uploaded shows a tiny humanoid-like baby with a tail and other animal features. It could only be described as a Golem Jr. due to the resemblance with the fictional character. It had a tail with narrow hairlines starting from its head to its back, with two huge sharp teeth visible coming out of its mouth. According to the source of the video, it was found lying in the middle of a woodland. Whether it was expired or just napping also remains a mystery. Alien behind tree. Perhaps all it was asking for was a wet wipe to clean itself after taking care of business. A man who was out for an early morning walk in the wooded area of San Diego was caught by surprise when an alien suddenly appeared. The footage, dating back to August 2017, shows the moment when the alien appears from behind a tree towards the recorder, who stumbles in fear before fleeing the scene. Now, although anyone would be terrified of being in such an encounter, if you look closely, it almost seems as if the alien was rather distressed and needed some assistance. Stalking skeleton. From the looks of this alien skeleton's body language, it certainly is up to something mischievous. While riding on a horse through the serene Montana countryside on his horse, a peaceful journey turned into one where the recorder had to continuously look over his shoulder after discovering this moving skeleton concealed behind a tree. The skeletal figure seemed to fixate on him, exhibiting unnatural behavior that hinted at sinister intentions. As the video of this unsettling encounter circulated on the internet, it ignited a flurry of speculations. Some believed it to be a frightened extraterrestrial visitor, while others feared a malevolent demonic entity. Roadside cryptid. As unusual as it may look, it doesn't give as much spooky vibes. While heading home late one evening in Acapulco, Mexico, a group of workers came across this bizarre cryptid-like creature that was hiding in the bushes. Driven by curiosity, they halted to investigate, revealing an incredibly strange and skeletal cryptid. Its appearance resembled that of a malnourished infant abandoned at the roadside on the brink of starvation. Typically, such a sight might deter people, but the cryptid's frail and helpless demeanor stirred feelings of compassion and vulnerability instead. Perhaps it was a bit too out of strength to put up with any type of struggle. Extra-dimensional carcass. Either this is a result of an intense mutation that went wrong, or a much simpler explanation of this entity being extra-dimensional. This clip from September 2009 shows the bizarre carcass that was discovered lying on rocks in the middle of a public park in Panama. The public took it to be a kind of mannequin until scientists and researchers of all kinds had the carcass securely removed and taken to an undisclosed lab to study. Despite several days of examination, they were not able to figure out what this actually might be, apart from being extra-dimensional. Pissed off skinwalker. Though most would be scared, this guy wasn't going to have it. Dashcam footage from February recorded a moment where the driver of a vehicle decided to detain a baby skinwalker who appeared in front of his car and blocked the way. Another skinwalker, way bigger than the first, could be seen coming out from the dark, probably to rescue its kind. Hours later, the author of the clip shared another instance where the same skinwalker was found after it almost entered his home. From the looks of it, it almost seems like it followed him to his home to settle the score. Evil elf. Unlike most elves, this one seems to have had enough of Santa Claus's shenanigans that it decided to make a sudden appearance. In 2017, an unexpected encounter unfolded at an ancient ruin in Athens. While exploring, a visitor was startled when a tiny elf-like entity appeared abruptly. Seemingly disgruntled with the festive cheer, unlike traditional elves, this creature tossed a rock, capturing the visitor's attention before swiftly disappearing. Its mysterious appearance left the visitor bewildered, raising questions about the elf's purpose and origin. Sasquatch on road. The only known living species that matches the posture and the size of this furry being is a Sasquatch. While traveling through the forest, a man spotted a massive bushy figure around a dozen meters away, which, according to him, very well could be a Sasquatch. Footage dating back to June 2022 started with various animals fleeing from the area.
Whoa, what was that?
Before it appeared from one side of the tree line and disappeared into the other. Upon approaching the location and exiting his vehicle, he heard the Sasquatch emit a distinctive howl. Some believe it might have been a warning, while Bigfoot investigators speculate it could have been a mating call, adding an air of mystery to the sighting. Broken back skinwalker. Either this is a burglar attempting to use cover to break in and get away with the crime, or an actual ghostly figure that's looking for potential prey. This disconcerting security camera video that started circulating on the internet in July 2022 shows what appears to be some kind of pale humanoid right at the entrance of a house in Kentucky, USA. The humanoid tends to move around the area in circles, though most thought it to be a dressed-up human with mental issues, but was ruled out after a witness reported hearing it sound like a beast. Creepy being. While passing near the Tomorrow World area, a hunter heard screams emanating from the nearby forest. Believing someone needed help, he cautiously ventured in that direction, only to be spooked by the sight of a peculiar figure standing by a creek, gripping a walking cane. Keeping a safe distance, the hunter attempted to communicate.
Where? You don't know where your clothes are? What? You're not far from the original place.
With the pale, unsteady being. His heart skipped a beat after watching the creepy being moving towards him, so he decided to leave it alone, suspecting it might have been disturbed by the unexpected intrusion.
You know where it's at in relation to where you live.
Beast from hell. For something that looks as scary as this, it's safe to say that it is a beast that literally may have come from hell. Another driver in Cancun, Mexico, who while on the road was left shocked when this entity popped out of nowhere and sat right in front of him on a traffic light, facing towards him. Since it was getting dark, not much could be seen except that it had huge bat-like wings with multiple limbs, just as if it were a flying spider. After a few seconds of a glimpse, it flew away and disappeared, almost as if it were leaving a symbolic message. Pig dog creature.
A ver, dale, bájate, es un chupacabras, güey.
Irrespective of what you call, it is the actual nature of this creature that needs to be identified.
No mames, mira.
While driving in the dead of the night on the outskirts of a forest, this unknown animal appeared out of nowhere, which not only confused, but also captivated the passerby.
A ver, dale, bájate, es un chupacabras, güey.
Its general body structure looked mostly like a canine, but a face, belly, and feet to that of a pig. Now, crossbreeding between two different organisms is scientifically not possible, but remains the only possible explanation.
No, no compró combinación con cabra, no mames, güey.
Mysterious holler. For a sound this broad and profound, the source is either a giant or a Bigfoot hidden deep in the woods. A trucker parked at an Oregon rest stop along Route 97 was startled by loud, eerie howling sounds emanating from the nearby woods. The nature of the noises suggested a source larger and more powerful than any known animal, instilling fear. Additional drivers in nearby gas stations also reported hearing these unsettling sounds. Fueled by local legends of giant gorilla-like creatures in the area, many speculate that these roars are the vocalizations of a Bigfoot or a similar elusive being.
I don't ever want to stick my arm out the window.
jungle road crawler. Had the driver not seen it blocking the road while at his speed, the consequences would have proved to be fatal, unless this crawler had super strength or speed. A dash cam of a transporter that was passing through a dense Chilean forest recorded an encounter with an emaciated figure that appeared to be crawling and was obstructing the road. It had a frail and skeletal physique with grayish hair. Seeing how it could only move at a slower pace, even though it seemed eager to approach, gave the driver an advantage to steer clear. Uncertain of its intentions, the driver practiced caution and turned around for an alternative route. The true nature and motivations of the crawler remain a mystery. Hiker that vanished. This hiker probably learned the good old saying of nothing good happens past 10 in the night and curiosity kills the hard way. Back in January 2019, a disturbing video made its way onto social media days after a hiker was reported missing. With the owner of the camera recording, the camera managed to capture a glimpse of something that jumped on him in pitch darkness. Despite seasoned hunters and trackers looking for the hiker, he was never found. As per the hunters, the perpetrator stalked and waited for the right time, but nothing is known for sure as the footage got garbled and corrupted. Glowing-eyed mummy. Apart from this looking to be claustrophobic, no ordinary person could run that fast while being wrapped in fabric, not to mention having glowing eyes. Back in April 2018, two young men were driving down a road near LAX airport when this mummy-like figure appeared out of nowhere. It was spotted moments after it came out from the dark.
Get the light on my face! Yes! I don't see him! He's right there!
While racing alongside them to attempt to get as close as possible, presumably to jump into their vehicle. From head to toe, it was covered in a white mummy fabric and its eyes were shiny. The driver managed to accelerate and get away from the mysterious figure.
What?
Dementors in plain clothes. This looks more like a case of Dementors looking for their next victim than a huge coincidence. The recorder repeatedly encountered numerous dark entities with shrouded appearances, seemingly tailing him. Their frequent presence near a church initially led the recorder to mistake them for nuns. But the continuous sightings while driving invoked an eerie sensation. It felt as though an evil force was pursuing him, particularly since he soon realized that he was the sole witness to these apparitions. In a bid to capture evidence of these uncanny encounters, the recorder readied his camera, ultimately unveiling an even more perplexing figure lurking in the shadows. Wall-climbing witch. While no one knows if this witch is possessed or something that's quite the skill set, this anonymously recorded video surfaced in April 2018, showing a white-clad witch who made it look easy to ascend a pillar toward the first floor covering more than a dozen feet from the ground. She could be seen balancing her weight using intricate techniques, all the while maintaining a silent ascent. The figure bore a striking resemblance to Marilyn Eng, the girl from the well, leading to speculation that she perhaps is closing in on another person who saw the Forsaken tape. Unusual intruder. Having to come across something like this is inevitable, especially if you live in a cabin in a remote area with a lot of UFO sightings. A couple was spending a special evening in the countryside when a strange noise started coming from the roof, and one of them decided to investigate. Now, they were expecting it to be some raccoon looking for shelter, only to notice this human-like entity on the roof, that it was really tall, with a tiny head on a large body. This unusual intruder was attempting to break its way into their home, but ran away moments after being discovered. Rake breaking in. Usually the burglars tend to break in just to steal. One can only imagine the actual cause here. While returning from work, a bloke in Yorkshire, England, noticed this so-called mythical creature, Rake, standing on his front lawn. Since he was not able to believe his eyes, he started recording it. The Rake seemed to be attracted by some form of energy that had it determined enough to make a huge jump to climb up his house and force its way in. As soon as it got on the top of the house, the recorder stopped the footage, presumably to drive it out of his house. Ghost in human form. Be it skinwalkers, aliens, or cryptids, they may seem spooky, but nothing as compared to this. A resident from Mexico shared this footage of what looks to be a possessed woman who desperately tries to convince the recorder to let her in, that a ghost had taken her daughter. Now, just by looking at the nature of this woman, you can know that something really is wrong with her, and that it is rather a ghost that has taken the form of a woman than possessing one. For an unknown reason, it was eager to try and find a way to get in the house. Creepy cryptid encounter. Even though the possibilities of this being a bird or a rodent are high, you notice how eagerly it is attempting to hide itself. During an adventure in the Appalachian Mountains of North America, a tourist came across a bizarre bird or animal that was lurking behind a dried tree trunk, having its facial features seemingly deformed, with a beak-like structure protruding. Its intentions remained anonymous, as it hardly moved, keeping a fixed gaze on the observer. Due to its inexplicable behavior, the tourist classified it as an unidentifiable animal, later deemed a cryptid. Ghost passengers. Regardless if these are spirits or wandering souls of the deceased, what's most fascinating is their choice of place to wander around. An adventure and traveling enthusiast tourist was waiting for his flight at an airport in Phuket, Thailand, when he noticed shadowy figures running along the passageway of an airplane bridge. Footage dating from the 23rd of August 2017, where despite no plane in sight and the airport being almost deserted, he could see dozens of passengers passing. This raises the obvious question as to where did these passengers come from? Or better yet, could there have been a ghost ship nearby? Twisted walking creature. Just by looking at the nature of this thing, you can get the bad vibes coming from it. A paranormal visitor who entered a haunted cabin in the nearby woods claimed to have been pursued by a truly terrifying entity.
Esa cosa, Dios mío. Es una persona. No, no es una persona.
The creature appeared like a human, but its posture was unnaturally twisted, with two arms seemingly supporting the upper back.
Pero qué hace? Ay, madre, no. Está moviéndose raro.
The investigator, cautious of the pitch-black night, couldn't get a clear look, but chose to maintain a safe distance. When confronted by something so unsettling, staying far away was certainly the best course of action.
Diosito, Dios mío, ¿qué es eso? Ay, no.
Unknown animal in dark. An anonymous uploader shared a video capturing a truly enormous and mysterious face of an unidentified creature spotted in the darkness. According to the video's author, this peculiar animal exhibited a unique blend of human-like and four-legged carnivorous traits. It featured massive blunt teeth and an exceptionally large snout, reminiscent of a dinosaur. The encounter left viewers puzzled and fascinated by the cryptic nature of the creature. While the footage sheds light on its colossal face, the full identity and origin of this intriguing being remain a mystery despite the sparking speculation. Skinwalker on trail. Call it aliens, demons, or just straight-up monsters, all tend to use the cover of the darkness, but this one doesn't seem to have gotten there yet. During a morning walk in Nicaragua, the video's source encountered this extraterrestrial being that was standing in the middle of a secluded trail. In a sudden turn of events, it resorted to pelting the recorder with rocks before making a swift escape as it realized that it had been spotted. The video's viral spread prompted skepticism, with many deeming it a hoax, while those who believed coined the being the Skinwalker. Ghost animal. The more you look at this, the more confused you get as to what actually it might be. While driving through an undisclosed forest in Canada around midnight, this driver came across an incredibly peculiar animal that was walking away a few meters ahead of him. Its lower body made it look like a boar, while the broad neck with distinctive black and white stripes reminiscent of a zebra. This unsettling animal was seen carrying what seemed to be a similarly sized wild feline predator in its jaws. Its demeanor conveyed an aura of extreme danger, dissuading any attempt to confront it. The observer was left utterly confused as he had never seen anything like it before, despite taking the same route several times. Otherworldly primate. Although it's missing most of its skin and hair while having the closest resemblance to that of a primate, a villager in northeastern part of India filmed this unidentified monkey-like animal in November 2018, shortly after spotting it. Seeing how it could only be a monkey that may have lost its skin and hair in a forest fire or due to some severe disease. Out of hunger and curiosity, the monkey-like animal was found while it was attempting to steal from the villager. As interesting as this is, no one knows the fate of this poor primate. Spider-like road monster. On the night of March 25, 2022, a resident of Ohio encountered a perplexing sight and managed to capture it on video. Weary from a long journey, the individual initially dismissed what they saw, attributing it to exhaustion. However, upon recording the scene, they were astounded by the appearance of an otherworldly creature crossing the deserted road. This enigmatic being bore a striking resemblance to a colossal spider, featuring multiple legs or tentacles and a prominent tail on its back. The eerie sight unnerved the observer, prompting a hasty retreat. To this day, the true nature of this spider-like creature remains shrouded in mystery. Strange bird. Of all the bird species, this one looks closest to that of an owl, if it isn't already one. A man, while on a hike, came across this strange bird that was found sitting on top of the fence. Its resemblance to an owl initially made the source believe it to be an owl, until he realized that owls don't usually tend to come out of their cover during the day, while its eyes were much different to an owl. To get answers, he recorded this footage and shared it on the internet, but till date still remains an unanswered mystery. If you happen to know about this bird, feel free to share with us about it down in the comments. Demon from Doom. If such a beast came into my backyard, I'd probably deal with it using some level of caution. A resident living on the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro shared this clip that he took of a huge demon that suddenly appeared out of nowhere in the broad daylight into his private property. The recorder, along with his companions, decided to close in on it and try to get a closer look at it, only to fall into its trap, and seconds later, the footage ends. As the footage went viral over the internet, many coined the demon to look quite similar to that of a monster in Doom 3 video game. Living humanoid doll. For a doll coming to life begs the million-dollar question. Would it be friendly or outright hostile, like Chucky? This video surfaced on the internet in July 2018, showing a tiny doll that was said to have come to life. It looked to have a very tiny body, while a huge face painted with some white layer of face paint. In the video, the man was recording could be seen playing around with the living doll using a stick. While most of the viewers speculated that this is the doing of some kind of witchcrafting or voodoo magic, others believe that this was a monkey that was made to wear a mask to show as part of a publicity stunt. Unidentified forest canine. Despite the fact that this may look like a chihuahua, it isn't one. A camper that was setting up a base area for the night was interrupted by this strange-looking canine-like animal that was peeking from an opening between two broad branches of a tree. It looked to have dark purple-shaded skin, according to the recorder, along with a very small head and incredibly long ears that were stretching out to either direction while it was staring at him. It didn't show any signs of aggression nor fear, apart from curiosity, and disappeared moments after it was spotted. Roof stalker. Calling this an animal or an alien wouldn't make sense, but something around the lines of a moving tree. A family while getting together for Christmas in South Africa, where one of them was recording everything they got together on camera. It was at this moment when the recorder heard noises coming from the roof until he suddenly noticed the presence of this. What could be seen was that of a tree-like entity was stalking them from on top of their roof, which, moments after being spotted, moved to the other side of the house and disappeared. River beast. In a 40-year-old video filmed in a river in Uzbekistan, a mysterious creature with enormous claw-like hands known to locals was spotted. Fishermen in the area have an arrangement where they offer raw chicken meat by securing it to a stick, and in return, the enigmatic river creature permits them to catch fish. The recorder, initially skeptical, decided to join the fishermen to witness this for himself, capturing the astonishing footage. Despite attempting to get a closer look, the river beast eluded further inspection, leaving the recorder in awe. The creature's elusive nature continues to puzzle those who encounter it. This picture and video was captured on March 30th, 2017 in Indonesia during an expedition in the forest, where a group of bikers encountered a goblin-like humanoid that suddenly came out of nowhere and knocked one of their companions off their bike. For no reason at all. Fortunately, one of the bikers had a GoPro camera recording the entire startling incident. They described how this mysterious being ambushed their fellow biker with astonishing speed, using a cane to strike them to the ground. After the unsettling strike, a couple of bikers attempted to give chase, but the enigmatic goblin swiftly escaped, vanishing back into the forest. All that remained was the abandoned cane, as the true nature of the creature remained an unsolved mystery. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.